It's the AtomicGiftShop.com Lil Saucer Kit. Includes alien. So you saw me on the previous video doing a box opening of this. I bought this off Dana, but he also threw in lots of other little bits to it, including a stand which will come in useful. These are the salient parts, I think. Just sort of wanted to have a look at how it goes together and how I can use it. So here's the instructions. I'm going to be going down this side of it, and at the moment the alien's still in the box. I noticed there's a little monitor there that goes in front of where the alien sits. So the alien sits there, there's a little monitor that goes in front of it, and he's done two different versions, a transparent one and a opaque one. And of course the transparent one, I think I can light that from below maybe. He's even put a little tube up there, so I could actually get a little light in that little LED. We'll see how that goes anyway, and how I decide to do it. I mean, the kit just on this bit, it just goes one into the other, and then there's the bottom bit as well. So it's quite simple. So from the bottom, you've got that bit which the stand goes into. That's quite heavy, and then that goes on top of it. That goes on top of that, and that goes in there. Forget about the other bits for the moment. But if you look at that, there's actually loads of space in there to put something. So I was thinking of, if I was putting one of these batteries in it, you know where I get these from. I won't mention it, but you can see this from other places on my stream. I think I could actually fit one of those in there. Let's see. Yeah, I could. And I've also got another video coming up where I use these little helicopter batteries, and I've got a few of them, so I could put one of those in instead. So I'm going to put a control board in it. I'm going to put some lights around there, maybe another light that comes up for the cockpit, and then these little things will go in the bottom. Now these have got like a purpley tint. I'm sure it won't matter when I put a light behind them what the colour is. It just means I won't be able to get a pure white out of them. But you can't really get pure white anyway out of an RGB LED. And I think what I'll do, I'll leave that fits in there quite well. I might leave that as a charging port, so you can pop that open and get into charge through there. I actually think, looking at it, I'll probably just use one of these Wemos boards, because if I use one of these I can control it with Wi-Fi as well, and then it will, yeah, it's just great when it can do that, because then you can set whatever light patterns you want. And this board appears to have been trodden on by a very weighty human. No idea who could have done that. Well, I hope it works. Where's the power lead? Okay, so that's good. I've got a telltale on that, and I mean, I could even rewire that with one of the little green LEDs, and it goes up into the cockpit. So here are some more of these little addressable LEDs, and they're breakable, but of course be prepared. Have I ever mentioned to you how much I hate printed circuit boards that are just broken like that? Alright, and I'll work out which is going to be number one. There's a sticky outy bit there, so that'll be number one. Okay, yeah, it might need a little bit of glue on there, and probably as I put the wires on it, it'll probably help it as well. But yeah, so I'll take the data in and I'll go around that way and wire it up to this. So all I'm going to do is take the plus and the minus from there to go to the plus 5 volts and the ground on there, and then I'm going to take one of the pins out. I can't remember which it is, probably D1. I'll take that pin out and put it into the data, and then I'll daisy chain that all along here. For each of these I'll give it a swipe of flux, helps it flow onto this. And then I've got 3 of these little wires, which are the enamelled wires for wire wrapping. I'll just need to solder each end of those. I've sanded these with a little emery board first. And then, once they're tinned, if I just pop the soldering iron, make it clean, pop the soldering iron just onto the end of the pad so it melts the solder, then I can bring in the other one. I've joined both pads then. Got a little bit too much solder on that one. Just to pull it off, I'll use some of this. Then once I've got that pad on, I'll just do the other end, and then it's easier when these are held somewhere to do them. So I made 8 of these little shooting stars. So I connected these to the Wemos, and you can see that it's ground, battery and D4, which is GPIO2 on the settings. I've also connected a little Firefly LED, which I've just done in parallel to this blue LED, which is why that blue LED is struggling, because green is taking all of its power. And then I wired all these up to the next one in the chain while it was turned on. So then if there was any errors in my soldering, I'd see straight away that it wasn't connected, because it wouldn't light the next one in. Now that's got me to here, so I've got to find a way of sticking these on, but I'm not going to stick them on straight away because I think I've got to paint this next. But as you see, it's looking good, all of them are lit, and even if I turn around like that, it looks quite impressive. Let's yeah, it looks even better like that. Okay, so that's those two just with a primer on them, and well, thankfully there was just enough space underneath to grab on with these little crocodile clips for painting. I really didn't know how to do this. When the design has a red one, don't want to do that. I was browsing on the BBC the other day and I found this interesting news article, but what really got me about it is that it had this picture of UFO shaped US Army, US Air Force test vehicle of some kind, and that's really cool. I just think that's really good. I think it's called the Avro, Canadian Avrocar. So I wanted to use that. I mean, you know, come on, is this where the idea came from? I thought, so the best way to do that, I mean, I imagine that's just going to be like a grey or a silver. So I could probably just get away with it like that. This isn't going to be a video about painting this, by the way, but I just needed to paint it before I put the lights in. But just to show you what my plans for it are, I found this, which was the cheapest Airfix that I could find. And the reason I liked it is because it had some of the markings on it. So I literally bought it just for this. So I'm hoping some of these will fit on here. I like the idea of doing that. It's sort of funny, especially if the alien's still in it. In the end, I used this platinum silver, but I used it in my cheap USB airbrush, and it's given quite a nice look to the UFO. It's slightly silvery. Nice little bit of sparkle on it, if the algorithm allows that to show. Oh, look at that. That's annoying. A little bit of hot glue stuff still on there, but I think we're all right. So I sprayed those two, and then I realised that I hadn't primered these, so I've sprayed the silver directly onto them. So it might give a slightly different look to the silver, is what I'm hoping. I just popped in little bits of blue tack into each of these light holes, so I can pull those out. Oh, look at this. Is this going to be like Dr. Pimple Popper? Look. Oh. Do you think she'll like this? Shall I send her this video? Oh. I could ask her, oh. Oh. I ought to put those on a piece of towel, hadn't I? So now I've got those out, I've got these little lenses that I'll just pop into it. Looking good. So I have to try it lit now. Hopefully I've not broken any of the wiring while I'm doing it. Let's bring that in from the back there. Oh, ooh, look at that. The effect on the ground. It's gonna be great. I'm just gonna try and put one of these decals on. Never done it before. I don't think I've ever had this much water about to be knocked over on my desk before, with all the electronics either side of it as well. This is warm water. This is just washing my brush water. So let's cut this US Air Force out first, I think. Now one video I watched said, do this with scissors, it's much more accurate. And then another video said, do this with a sharp knife, as sharp as you can get, it's much easier than scissors. This was to hand. Right, it said I have to put a blob of water on this. I've covered this in lacquer. I need to put a blob of water on it. So let's pop that on there. Or there was some other solution that you should put on it, which I didn't have. Then we take this with our little tweezers and we soak it in the warmish water for 10 seconds. Alright, and then we put it on there, which undampens the damp stuff. And then I think we just slide it onto there. So will this slide now? Can you see this with my big thumbs? Yeah, it's just about sliding. Oh yeah, and we have to take these as well. So I'm glad I've got my little Temu purchase holding them here. And then when we've got them on there, I think we can just move them around a little bit and get them lined up. That wasn't that hard. Let's zoom in a bit for you. Alright, I'll get some more of these put on and then we'll come back. Okay, so I think that's appropriate for my UFO kit. So I'm just going to put some washes on this and sort out the other bits, and then let's build this bad boy. Okay, so that's everything painted and pretty much finished. The one thing that I haven't shown you up till now is this little stand as well that Dana sent me. I think this was a special bonus as well. So I've gone over these with flesh wash, as is my way. I've got a slightly green alien man. I've just done some shading on that and made a lot of the cockpit black. And then I've painted black on the outside of this small display screen, which is where the LED is going to go. So if you look at this, you see I've got all of the lights in now, and I've done quite a bit of work on this. So you see I've glued all of that in now, hot glued it all in. And you'll notice there's a wire which goes through to this charging unit and the LiPo battery. Now I did manage to get all this to fit in here, but then I couldn't fit the cockpit in, and while I was trying that I managed to short something out and blew half of my Neopixels, so that's why this video didn't go live on Friday like it normally does. So I've put some new Neopixels in, decided that I was just going to pull a set of wires coming out on the positive and the negative to come through to what I've got on the LiPo there. So this is all working perfectly now. So let's build this. And then I think the easiest thing to do with this is going to be push it through that hole first and just leave it sticking out for the moment. So that should hide that in there, and then Mr. Alien Man can go in there. And ironically, I think his hands need to go in there before the monitor. Yeah, that's right. So he goes in there in a lovely way, and all I need to do is find the dome. Not sure whether I like it with or without the dome, but anyway, right, let's pop the dome on as well. Oh yes. So now the great thing is I've already flashed wled onto this. That's all done, so all I should have to do is power up my device. Yes. Alright, so you can't see that, so I'm going to get a different angle, but we've got a green light inside there shining at the alien's belly, and we've got some lights flickering down the bottom, which you might or might not be able to see. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed me doing this build. I'll leave some close-ups of this, and hopefully you enjoy the fact that I've converted Atomic Gift Shop's alien UFO into a USA Avro spy plane. I really enjoyed making this, Dana. thanks for designing this great model. There'll be a link in the description where you can buy this kit if you want to make one. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching this, please subscribe. And all I can say other than that is bye. Alright, so it's not going to go in like that. I'm going to have to find out a better way to lay these out. So I think I'm going to leave that as it is now and come back to you when I've worked out where everything needs to go.